welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are going to be reviewing the Tarte Shape Tape Foundation mixed in with the Tarte Poreless Mattifying Primer. I haven't tried any type of Tarte foundation before, so it's going to be my first time. I have tried the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, which I do like. So if you want to see how this foundation and primer apply, then just keep on watching. Hey guys, so I know you're wondering why do I have a different shirt on, and it's because I'm going to re-record the application process of the foundation. Unfortunately, the first time around my phone deleted the footage somehow, I don't know how, and I can't recover it, so at least it didn't delete my initial thoughts and what was going on when I was wearing this foundation. So what I'm going to do is try out this Tarte Shape Tape Matte Foundation. And I also did pick up the Tarte Poreless Mattifying Primer. Now, this is on sale for $26, and normally it's $39 at Ulta. And this is normally $32, and it's on sale for $19 at Ulta. I'm also going to use my Smashbox primer because I always use it. It tends to just give a more flawless application to my foundation. And so for this Poreless primer, it does have like that silicone consistency, I cannot talk today, as the Smashbox primer does. And normally when it comes to these type of primers, they do tend to make me oily. Any type of pore filler always gets me oily because, you know, of course it's a pore filler and my pores don't like that. So that's why I tend to stay away from pore fillers, because my skin just does not like them. This primer does say that it's mattifying as well, so I might get the best of both worlds. I guess we'll find out. And so for this foundation, I picked up Tan Honey, and y'all can hurt somebody with this. This has such heavy packaging, and I'm not sure if it can easily break or not. I don't want to find out. So my skin type is that I do have quite a bit of texture right here in this area, and then of course some pimples going on, so we'll see how it does. And then as well, I do have some discoloration going on my face, so I guess we'll see what the coverage is. It doesn't state that it's full coverage on the foundation or on the box, so I mean, if it's not full coverage, then it's not providing false information. But it does come in this doe foot applicator, like the Shape Tape concealer. So for the first layer is that it does look a little bit orange. It is oxidizing and becoming a little bit darker, so we'll see how that ends up changing throughout the day. And then of course it does have medium coverage. You can still see some of the discoloration that's going on about my acne scar, and then as well the discoloration that I have right here in my cheeks. So we are going to now do the first layer on this side with the brush. Alright, so one thing that I did notice using the brush is that you can see my pores a little bit more versus this side that I used the sponge. So I personally will always tend to like the application with a sponge versus a brush. The only time that I like using a brush is when it comes to a stick foundation. So I'm just going to dab my sponge over it. And so again, as you can tell, it does look orange, a little bit more orange, and is oxidizing a little bit darker. So if you are interested in trying out this foundation, I highly suggest you go into the store and swatch it versus just, you know, buying it online first. But what I'm going to do is just finish off my makeup and seeing what happens there. I am probably going to end up using just a lighter powder over my face to even out this that's going on. But so far it is very matte. It does not feel sticky. I'm very happy with how it looks. I just wish it wasn't that orange. And then again, you can definitely, let me see if I can zoom y'all in. You can see how these pores just look a little bit bigger than this side. It's all blended out. It doesn't look cakey. What I am going to do is just do like a more spot type of second layer, because this foundation, like, it's dry, guys. Like, it's dried down and it's not going anywhere. Let's just put a little bit more on these spots where I have discoloration going on. So you can layer it, but you can't see that much of a difference. So this foundation is definitely a light to full coverage. So if you are wanting a full coverage foundation, this ain't it. But again, I'm not mad with the coverage, because to be honest, I'm really loving how matte it is. I am adding a little bit more over here because I forgot to blend over there. All right, so that is what the initial application looks like. I'm going to finish up doing my makeup and then I'll come back and let y'all guys know what my thoughts are about the foundation so far. All right, guys, so this is the finished look. Still pretty matte. There's no oil seeping through my nose, and I mean, guys, I'm that oily that if a foundation, like, I'll know right off the bat within the first 30 minutes if this foundation is going to last or not, because literally the oil from my nose is already seeping through. And then as well, there's no like breakage going around in the nose area. So far so good. Other than that, I mean, let's hope it lasts. So I'll check in. It's about 10:45 in the morning, so I'll check in whenever I need to blot, or if I need to blot, or if something happens. But this is how the foundation looks, and again, I am very happy with it, how it looks, how matte my face looks. Well, I'm one for, you know, that matte look. I don't know what your preference is, but since I always battle with such having an oily face, that being matte, that's what I'm about. I am going to set my face with, where'd it go? With the NYX setting, I mean the NYX matte finish spray, just because, I mean, it really doesn't need it, guys, but I'm just going to do it because that's what I do with all my foundations. Like, no matter what, this is the spray that I use. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll be back later on with another check-in. Hey guys, so I'm back here with the first check-in. It is currently 3:57 in the afternoon. And one thing that I forgot to point out is that it is humid over here in Texas. It is about, I checked it on the, let me see if I can pull it up on the weather. It says 96%. Oh, here it goes. Oh, never mind. It's at 68% humidity. It is pretty disgusting out here. I've been running around all morning doing errands, and from a scale of 1 to 5 on being oily, I'm like about a 4. I am about 4.5. So I really do need to blot my face. But given that I've had this foundation on for almost, so I put it on like around 10:45. About to be 4. So I've had it on for almost 5 hours. It's really not that bad. It is not looking that bad. I mean, it is looking a little bit oily, but you know, nothing too serious or too disgusting. Like, the foundation does feel a little heavy, but I'm not sure if it's because it's so humid outside and I've been outside all day. But I did want to, this is also going to be my first time blotting my face. So given that I've had it on for 5 hours and I'm barely blotting my face, it's not bad at all. It has started kind of creasing right here in my little smile lines, but I feel like because also, guys, I did not set my face. So that is another thing that I didn't do with this foundation. So what I'm going to do as well is, now that I've removed all the oiliness on my face, is use this Wet n Wild pressed powder to just blot my face. And also as well, it has a little bit broken down here in the little nose area, so I figured it's the perfect timing to powder my face. So again, I was oily here in my T-zone on the top of my cheeks, and then as well as my nose area. So far, I mean, the foundation looks great on my face. Like right now, it just looks all mattified again. Nothing, I mean, you can still see my highlighter, not as much. You can still see my blush and as well as my bronzing on the face. And then you can still see some of the highlighter that I had on my nose. So far it's looking good. I would say I probably just will apply just a little bit more highlighter on the top of my cheeks, but nothing too drastic. And then also I am going to use my Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. So this is just what I do with all of my foundations. Either I use my Wet n Wild Photo Focus pressed powder or the Essence All About matte powder to retouch up my face, and then lastly I go in with this setting spray. And the reason why I do that is because, like I've said, and as y'all can see, I am very oily. I forgot to put on there that of course I did lose some of the foundation right here in the little crevice, well, the little area where my glasses sit on, which it tends to happen with all my foundations. I haven't found one foundation that hasn't happened. And the only way that I can kind of essentially kind of reduce from that happening, or for the foundation not to come off a lot, is if I'm sitting there like just always powdering my nose, but I don't always want to do that. So far, still going strong, and I give it 2 thumbs up. I am actually going to leave again to be outside in the humidity, so we'll see how this foundation is holding up after that. I'll probably come around 8 o'clock when I'm ready to take off my makeup, because by then I'm probably going to have it on for like 9 or 10 hours, so I'm going to want to take it off. But see, spraying on this setting spray, or maybe it could have been just any setting spray, like the foundation just feels like a little bit lighter, like it just needed to be fresh, or I just needed to be away from the humidity. So that is how my face looks like so far with having the foundation on for about 5 hours, and it's looking really good. So far, it's looking really good. I did try to take some pictures with the flash on to see if it gives that white effect, but it's still not dark out, and when I was trying to do that, it wasn't as dark in my living room either, so I couldn't really tell if it gave that white cast or not. So I'm going to try to see if I can remember later on to take pictures to see if it actually does that. Well, guys, we'll see you on the next check-in. I'm back with my last check-in. It is about to be 8 o'clock at night. I just got done eating dinner. And also, I am feeling greasy. What I am going to do is actually blot my face as well. Alright, so given that I've had this foundation on for what it seems like 9.5 hours, it's doing pretty good. You can still see my blush, my highlight, of course, and then somewhat a little bit of the bronzer and contour. Now for that, I don't know if it's the actual palette itself that doesn't have, you know, like that much pigmentation, that, well, the longevity of the pigmentation, because I did notice this with when I used it with my other foundations. So with that, I'm not so concerned about. I still have like full on coverage. I would say that I did scratch my nose a little bit, so maybe some of that foundation has wiped off. But other than that, for being outside in this Texas humidity, guys, and my foundation looks this good still, and it doesn't look like so gross, and it's not breaking down. Like, if you can see, like in my nose area, that's the part that I'm mostly amazed about, is that it's not like all the way broken down how some of my other drugstore foundations have gotten. I give it 5 stars. Now, when it comes to this Tarte foundation, I definitely recommend it if you have oily skin, if you haven't been able to find a good foundation that actually has that longevity. Because, of course, if you remember, I did not set my face to begin with. The only time that I actually set it was whenever I powdered my face, like around 3 o'clock. So, given that, this thing is doing pretty good. I did wear this with the Tarte Poreless and Mattifying Primer. So I'm going to actually test this foundation out tomorrow with my typical Wet n Wild primer, seeing if it actually gives that same, you know, the same longevity. It looks the same as using the Tarte one. Because that's the one thing that I hate about products, is that they work so great together whenever, like, for example, Tarte primer and the foundation, they work so great together, but they don't inform you of that. Like, they don't tell you that disclaimer, like, in order for you to get these type of results, you have to purchase a primer as well. And that's the same issue that I have with this NYX one, is that this NYX one works so great with the NYX primer, but if I try to use my Wet n Wild primer, my Too Faced primer, like, it does not work out. So I mean, not a lot of people have that much time to sit there and try out foundation every single day with a different primer to see if it's working out. So I am actually not going to do another check-in. I'm actually going to take this makeup off because I need to wake up early tomorrow. But so far right now, how my skin looks, how the foundation looks, how matte it's actually left me for a good, I would say if I would have set my face, it would have lasted for a good 7 hours without me needing to powder. So I'm pretty happy with this foundation. This is definitely worth the $23 that I spent. And as well, if I would have been full price, and of course I definitely would have purchased it for that much as well. But other than that, guys, let me know down below if you have any questions about this product right here. If you recommend any other matte foundation that I should try, because like I said before, I'm always down to try any matte foundation, because that's, I feel like, one thing that I struggle with finding a lot in the drugstore or high end is like a matte foundation that actually does what it's stating in the package. Let me know also what kind of video you want to see next. Do you want to see a tutorial? Do you want to see another review? Because of course, I love doing reviews, as you can guys tell. I love informing y'all what product is working out there and what's not, so that way you're not sitting there wasting your money. But again, I do thank you guys for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.